viernes, yo soy Rory y estoy contento de estar contigo. If you got my email about today's lesson, you know Leslie's out of town. She left Wednesday, my wife and mother of our 3 kids. She left Wednesday and she's gone for another 2 weeks running some immersion programs for a group of high school kids and middle school kids in Costa Rica. And you know what? Every time I'm left alone with the kids, I just think to myself, holy cow, you single parents out there really have it tough. And so if you're a single parent out there, all my respect, renewed respect for you. And if you're not a single parent, my goodness, count your blessings and, keep those single parents in your circle in mind so that you can lend a hand here and there, because it's pretty serious work. Anyway, you probably already know that. I just get reminded every once in a while when Leslie and I have to split up and work abroad. So anyway, speaking of family, nuestro tema es Historia Médica Familiar en Español. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at some vocabulary for family members, vocabulary for hereditary illnesses, and a handful of common questions that would be good for you to have memorized and be able to rattle off. Some are a little more open-ended. Others are pretty easy yes-no format that you can really control the answers that you get from your patient. So let's keep an eye out for those here in la lección. All right, vamos a empezar. First of all, and I don't talk about this enough with you, but you never want to jump straight to the point with your patients. You always want to make time, an extra minute, just for some brief chit-chat with them. And sometimes you're not really sure what you would talk about, but family is actually a great topic. But here's a handful of questions that you could use to just open really any conversation with your patient. Let's take a look. So first of all, easy one, ¿cómo está? And ¿cómo está, how are you in English could be just something in passing in which you would never even expect an answer. But when you ask it in Spanish, you really should make sure you have time to listen to the answer. Bien, because it's not a casual greeting in Spanish. It's a real question in Spanish. Bien. ¿Y cómo está la familia? How's the family? How's your family? And your children? Sus hijos, how are your kids, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo le va el trabajo recientemente? How's work going for you recently? So, ¿cómo le va? This is a, it's a pretty direct translation from English. Is work going? Using that verb that's literally ir, the verb ir, ¿cómo le va? But it's very, very Spanish. It's very natural in Spanish, even though we have a direct equivalent in English. So, ¿cómo le va? How is work going for you recently? Okay, bien. ¿Qué le trae a la clínica hoy? What brings you to the clinic today? ¿Qué le trae? What brings you? See? ¿Qué le pasa? What's the matter? And ¿cómo le puedo ayudar hoy? How can I help you today? So starting off with some chit-chat and then moving into, getting to the point for the visit or of the visit. Bien, empezamos con vocabulario de la familia. We've got a couple categories of familia here, and as we know, hereditary illnesses really only follow bloodlines, but families, you may need a little extra vocabulario también. So we'll take a look at both. First of all, la familia nuclear, or the nuclear family, right? We've got madre or mamá. So madre is mother, mamá, mom, right? Y tenemos padre, papá. Hijo or hija, child, son or daughter, ¿verdad? Hermano or hermana, brother or sister, okay? Y con estos, hijo, particularly hijo, we all know or probably have heard niño or niña as well. Niño or niña don't imply that this person is related to you. It just implies that is a kid or a child. And so if you want to talk about your children, it's always hijos, right? Hijos. And this looks like a little bit of a scary word because you're not sure what to do with the H and the J here, but the H is always silent, remember? So it's just E and then the J always has an H sound. So hijo, okay? Hija. It's not hijos. Bien. All right, let's look at some parientes. And when you want to talk about relatives, pariente is the word. See, parientes are relatives. Also, parientes are not parents. Parientes are relatives. You could use the word familiares also. Familiares, like familia, but familiares. But parientes is really easy to confuse with parents. It's not. Parientes, relatives. Padres would be parents. So you take padre, make it plural, and that's parents. Okay, bien, continuamos. So parientes, other relatives. We've got abuelo, abuela, grandfather, grandmother. Nieto, nieta, grandson, granddaughter. Tío or tía, uncle, tío, and tía, aunt. Primo, prima, so primo, boy cousin, prima, girl cousin. Sobrino, sobrina, so sobrino is your nephew, sobrina, niece. And then tío abuelo, tío abuela, tía abuela, great uncle, great aunt. Tío abuelo or tía abuela. Okay, bien. And then we can go another level and talk about bisabuelo, great grandfather, bisabuela, great grandmother, bisnieto, great grandson, bisnieta, great granddaughter. Bien. And then as not 100% relevant to your family medical history questions, but definitely relative to families, we may have some familias combinadas or familias mezcladas, right? So some step relationships here. And in that case, we've got madrastra, so stepmother, padrastro, stepfather, hijastro, stepson, hijastra, stepdaughter, and then hermanastro, stepbrother, hermanastra, stepsister. So all the astros and astras are step relationships. Now, of course, families are much bigger than this. We've got, in-laws and mothers-in-law that we often like to talk about, but we're going to skip over it for today and just stick with these the rest of these blood relatives. Let's go to some vocabulario de enfermedades hereditarias, and after we get through this, we'll jump into some questions you can start asking. Okay, enfermedades hereditarias. And there are more than what I've got listed here, but these are probably the biggies. All right, so some enfermedades de corazón, so some heart diseases, right? Arrhythmia, ataque de corazón, heart attack, colesterol alto, high cholesterol, myopatía, myopathy, presión alta, so high blood pressure, hipertensión, hypertension, yeah? Insuficiencia cardíaca. So insuficiencia, this is your word that you're always going to use for failure. Insuficiencia, insufficiency. Insuficiencia cardíaca, and in other areas, renal, kidney, right? Okay, bien. Continuamos. Algunas enfermedades de sangre, so some blood disorders or blood diseases. Anemia falciforme, sickle cell anemia, falciforme. So it kind of looks like false form, right? Okay, it makes sense. Hemophilia, okay? And then some enfermedades mentales, some mental illnesses, enfermedades mentales. Adicciones, so any kind of adicción, alcoholismo, adicciones a drogas, etc. Ansiedad, anxiety, ansiedad. Depresión, depression. And then there's a whole category of what we would call mood disorders, right? So trastorno de ánimo. Trastorno is the word you're going to use for disorder in most cases. I know that we typically talk about blood disorders, but here we're talking enfermedades de sangre. But anytime you're talking about a disorder, particularly in the mental health realm, it's trastorno. So trastorno de ánimo could be bipolar or, you name it. Trastornos de ánimo. Bien. You might be saying, Rory, I wasn't thinking of any of these when you said you're going to do a lesson on enfermedades hereditarias. Well, okay, we've got some more. Here, también. All right, alergias, allergies, arthritis, arthritis, asthma, Cancer of course, diabetes, fibrosis quística, cystic fibrosis, obesidad, obesity, y síndrome Down. Okay, bien. So I know there are more, and you can get real technical with some other things, but I think these are probably maybe 95% of the ones you tend to talk about on a day-to-day basis. Bien. If you need something else, put it in the chat box and I'll be glad to respond. Okay. Bien, continuamos. Algunas preguntas, maybe sometimes it's easier to talk a little bit about who's taking medications or if anyone's taking medications if you come up kind of empty with asking your patient directly about hereditary illnesses or family illnesses. So, unas preguntas sobre medicamentos that might help you kind of open the door to some conversation. ¿Alguien en su familia toma medicamentos? Does anyone in your family take medication? So medicamentos, you could say medicinas, that's totally fine. Medicinas, medicine, medicamento, medication. Okay? ¿Toma usted algún medicamento recetado? Do you take any prescribed meds? Yeah? And so you could add recetado, prescribed, up here as well to the first question and say, does anyone take any prescription meds in your family? ¿Toma medicinas no recetadas? Do you take any medicaciones or medicamentos no recetadas, not prescribed? Another way to say that is de venta libre, so free sale. So this is how we're talking about over-the-counter medications. Okay. ¿Usa algún tipo de crema? Do you use any type of creams? ¿Usa gotas para los ojos? Do you use drops for your eyes? ¿Cuáles productos nutritivos or suplementos usa? What types of supplements or nutrition products do you use? ¿Cuáles productos naturales? What natural products, hierbas, herbs, o productos dietéticos or diet products está tomando, are you taking? Okay. And then the natural follow-up question for maybe all of these would be, ¿cuánto toma? How much are you taking? And ¿con qué frecuencia los toma? So how often are you taking them? Bien. Historia familiar. Let's get to la historia familiar. So after you've gotten a sense for who's taking medications, then maybe your next questions are followed right here with some more specifics about the family medical history. ¿Alguien en su familia padece de or ha padecido de? And I've underlined those verbs because they don't really have any equivalent in English. They don't look like anything. You could use padecer, it's the verb padecer, P-A-D-E-C-E-R, padecer. So you could use padece de or sufrir, the verb to suffer, sufre de. That's also a good one to use in this context. It just essentially means to have an illness chronically, okay? Of course, you can say tener also, tiene or ha tenido. And this ha padecido de is the present perfect tense, to have had or have suffered from. Okay? Alcoholismo, abuso de drogas, cáncer, colesterol alto, derrame cerebral, stroke. Okay? Probably should have listed it in the previous slide, but derrame cerebral is a stroke. Yeah? Enfermedades cardíacas, so heart disease. Enfermedad psiquiátrica, any psychiatric disease. O presión arterial, or blood pressure. See? Okay, bien. So, padece de, suffers from, present tense. Ha padecido de, has suffered from, in this present perfect tense. Okay? Bien. Some otras preguntas útiles, some other useful questions that could be follow-up or could be initial. ¿Qué enfermedades hay en su familia? What illnesses are there in your family? I is a great verb, or a great word. It is a verb technically, but it doesn't really look like one in how we conjugate them. It means there is, there are in a statement, or in a question, is there, are there. So here in this case, are there, because we're enfermedades plural, right? Okay. ¿Hay historia de, is there a history of, and you fill in the blank. ¿Hay historia de diabetes en su familia? ¿Hay historia de enfermedades de corazón en su familia? or enfermedades cardíacas, either way, okay? Bien, if you say enfermedades cardíacas, then you're using cardíaca as an adjective to describe enfermedades. If you say enfermedades de corazón, then you have to add that de there because you're saying illnesses or diseases of the heart. Okay, make sense? Bien. ¿Está vivo su abuelo? Is your grandfather alive? ¿Está vivo su padre? Is your father alive? So fill in the blank with the family member that you want to ask about. ¿Cuántos años tenía cuando se murió? How old was he or she when they died? Okay? ¿De qué se murió? What did he or she die of? ¿Qué enfermedades tenía? What illnesses did he or she have? And then much like the initial question and the second question, ¿alguien en su familia ha tenido? Has anyone in your family had? And you fill in the blank. All right, bien. So this isn't a long lesson. That's all I've got prepared for you today. Muchas gracias por estar conmigo, por aprender español conmigo hoy. Juntos realmente mejoramos comunidades. Dos enlaces for you, and if you get the lesson notes, either from the blog post or from this video in Facebook, you can head off to Common Ground Internacional for Más Español, and for Más Español Médico, head over to certifiedspanish.com, and there we've got some free medical Spanish vocabulary tests for you, and a study guide as well if you'd like to subscribe. But the testing is all free. Okay? Muy bien. Feliz viernes, have a great day, nos vemos la próxima semana. Adios. Thank you for joining me today on this Video Viernes lesson. I wanted to invite you to join our community if you're not a member of the Facebook group already that I deliver these live lessons in on most every Friday. And also point you to the website where you can find a bunch more information about medical Spanish, whether that be courses or free materials for you or finding a private tutor to work with you online or face-to-face. And also let you know about some amazing Spanish immersion programs, either you as a medical person or your significant other as working in some other industry or your family. If you want to improve your Spanish and you have time and budget to go do some travel, our programs are pretty amazing. I think it'd be fun to work with you. And finally, if you have some document work at your clinic or at your hospital or within your setting that needs to be professionally translated, shoot me a message, upload your document to us, and we can get you a quick quote and help you out with your Spanish language documents as well. Have a great day.